The Galactic Council had made their first mistake when they assumed humanity would surrender. Their second mistake was giving Earth 3 days to comply. Jenny Reeves stood on the observation deck of the Defiance, watching the distant flicker of enemy vessels positioning themselves around Earth's moon. The Vakari Dominion's fleet stretched across the void, like a constellation of Malast-well-thousanded warships, each capable of glassing a continent. Behind her, the holographic display showed Earth's meager defense force, 800 vessels, cobbled together from mining ships, cargo haulers, and the remnants of humanity's experimental navy. "They're hailing us again," Rowan Chen said, his fingers dancing across the tactical console. As the ship's weapons officer, he'd spent the last 72 hours running simulations. Every single one ended in extinction. Jenny didn't turn from the window. Let them wait. The Vakari had arrived with an ultimatum. Humanity would surrender all claims to the outer colonies, submit to Dominion governance, and provide to billion citizens as indentured labor for the next century. The alternative was annihilation. They had destroyed the Mars settlement as a demonstration, turning 300,000 souls into vapor and dust. The Council had called it proportionate response to humanity's aggressive expansion. Humanity called it murder. "Captain," Rowan's voice carried a tremor he couldn't quite suppress. "Fleet Command is asking for your decision. Do we evacuate or do we fight?" Jenny finally turned, her reflection ghosting across the reinforced glass. She was 34 years old, but the last 3 days had carved decades into her face. "Have you ever heard of the old Earth concept called mutually assured destruction, Lieutenant? Ancient nuclear doctrine. Both sides die, so neither side shoots first." Almost. Jenny walked to the command chair, her boots echoing in the silent bridge. It worked because both sides valued survival. But what happens when one side stops caring about survival and starts caring about making a point? Rowan's eyes widened. "Captain, you can't be serious. I'm not asking for permission, Lieutenant. I'm explaining what's about to happen." Jenny settled into her chair and opened a channel to every human vessel in the system. "This is Captain Jennifer Reeves of the Defiance. By now, you've all seen the simulations. You know we can't win a conventional engagement. Across 800 ships, thousands of crew members held their breath. The Vakari think we're afraid to die. They think that fear will make us kneel." Jenny's voice hardened into steel. "They're wrong. Humanity doesn't fear death. We fear irrelevance. We fear being forgotten. So we're going to make sure that every species in this galaxy remembers what happens when you threaten." Earth. She nodded to Rowan. "Activate protocol." Getter Demerung, the lieutenant's hands shook as he entered the authorization codes. Throughout the fleet, similar scenes played out. Engineers disabled safety systems that had been hardwired to prevent catastrophic reactor failures. Weapons officers armed experimental munitions that had been deemed dangerous for deployment. Pilots plotted collision courses with probability curves that flatlined at zero. Humanity wasn't planning to fight. Humanity was planning to explode. The Vakari fleet commander, Supreme Admiral Kethfer, watched the human formations with contempt. They were spreading out, dispersing like prey animals, hoping some might escape the predator. Typical mammalian panic response. "Begin the assault," he commanded. "Target their homeworld's major population centers. We'll break their spirit before the hour is." The tactical display erupted with warnings. Every human vessel had suddenly accelerated to maximum burn, but not away from the Vakari fleet. They were charging directly into it, their reactor signatures climbing to critical levels. "They're going to ram us," his subordinate screamed. "Evasive action. Destroy them before." The Defiance was the first to impact. Jenny had aimed her ship at the Vakari flagship, and in the microsecond before collision, she triggered a reactor overload while simultaneously detonating every nuclear warhead. In the armory, the explosion didn't just destroy Kethfer's dreadnought, it vaporized everything. Within 1,000 kilometers and sent a shockwave tearing through the tightly packed formation. Then the rest of humanity's fleet arrived. 800 ships, each one a guided missile with a crew willing to die as long as they took the enemy with them. They didn't fire weapons, they became weapons. Reactors overloaded, fuel tanks ignited, experimental antimatter containment fields collapsed exactly as intended. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When the fires finally dimmed, the Vakari Dominion had lost its entire expeditionary fleet, 12,000 warships, reduced to expanding clouds of superheated plasma and shrapnel. Not a single human vessel survived, but not a single one retreated either. Rowan Chen's last act had been to broadcast the entire battle on every frequency humanity could access, ensuring the galaxy would witness what he'd coded into the transmission header. We are humanity. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We do not surrender. And if you make us choose between slavery and mutual destruction, we will burn your fleet to ash and smile as we join it. The Galactic Council convened in emergency session 3 hours later. The footage had spread across every civilized world, translated into 10,000 languages. The debate was brief. The Vakari Dominion was censured. Reparations were ordered. Earth's colonies were formally recognized. But more importantly, a new galactic law was proposed and unanimously passed. Quarantine protocols for pre-contact species shall not apply to humanity. Any hostile action against Earth or its territories shall be treated as an act of existential warfare, and defenders may respond with any and all available force. No one asked if humanity would actually sacrifice itself again. The Council had learned what every predator eventually learns. Some prey are too dangerous to hunt. In the wreckage orbiting Earth's moon, a single message beacon flickered to life, left behind on a piece of hull plating from the UNS Defiance. It transmitted continuously, a memorial and a warning. Here died 800 ships and 50,000 souls, who chose extinction over submission. Do not mourn us. We got exactly what we wanted, a galaxy that will never, ever forget what happens when you threaten Earth. The stars had fallen silent, not from destruction, but from fear. Humanity had spoken, and the universe had listened.